a good football Friday, football fans. How are you this morning? Get ready for a big weekend around the National Football League, including the Eagles in D.C. against the Commanders. I'm not sure if our announcer was referring to McMullen and McDonald when they said great football minds around the Delaware Valley, but you're stuck with us anyway. You got us, you got me for the next 2 hours. You got McMullen for 1 hour before he's got to go over and do more Eagle information gathering in South Philadelphia. Johnny Mac, you did that yesterday, and you had to gather up not great news from the Eagles. I'm not I'm not the harbinger of the worst news, but additions to the injury list yesterday, downgraded from full participant to limited participant. How worried should Eagle fans be that the injury list didn't get better like it did the day before?
Some good and some bad. I wouldn't be worried at all about James Bradbury. Talked to him pretty extensively. He seems fine. Zach Cunningham, same type of thing. He's good. Milton Williams, he's going to play through everything. Milton's might be the toughest guy in the world. He's been banged up, but he's going to play through. Jordan Davis, though. Put a little flag there, Jody. Was not moving well when I saw him with a hamstring. So that would be the one I would be most concerned about. And we'll see how it shakes out. Maybe it's just a little tight. Maybe he'll be fine today, but that's one I would put an asterisk next to.
All right, and usually when you think of hamstrings, you think of speed guys. Oh, you hurt themselves running as fast as they were. You don't want to test because it's a speed guy. Jordan Davis has played very well this year. I know that Jalen Carter is grabbing all the headlines, as well he should, but don't underestimate the improvement in Davis's game as well. But I'm sorry, at no point in his career I am going to think of him about a speed guy. Quickness guy, maybe. Speed guy, no. If he didn't have the issue the day before, did he hurt himself quickly moving to a Burger King the night before?
No, that's a shot. Come on.
When exactly did the hamstring get injured?
For a 360-pound guy, Jordan's in pretty good shape, if that makes sense. But yeah, we don't know yet because he didn't speak. During the open locker room period. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to talk to Nick Sirianni, not that he would tell us anyway. So we're going to talk to him this morning. I assume he's not going to let us in on he's not going to play, but then you have the final injury reports released this afternoon where they have to confirm designations for the game for various players. And we'll see. All you can say is we'll see. But he's the only one I would be concerned about. Obviously, Bradley Roby's not going to play again this week. I should add that. But Reed Blankenship, full practice. He's going to be back. And as I mentioned, the other guys on the injury report, James Bradbury, Zach Cunningham, Milton Williams, they're all going to go, barring some kind of catastrophe today. And Jalen Hurts never even appeared on the injury report, so obviously he's going to play. The question is, and again, this happens to every NFL team. I've heard so much stuff this week about, the Eagles are going to get fined for not putting Jalen Hurts on the injury report. No, they're not. They're fine. As long as you fully participate in practice,
right?
You don't have to be put on the injury report. There are tons of players banged up in this league. It happens every week for every team, basically, at this time of the year. Now, and then people say, well, Reed's, he full practice. He's on the injury report. He's on there because he didn't last week. So once you're on there, you have to stay on there until you're back in action. Jalen Hurts never appeared on the injury report.
Nope.
That's the difference.
But you did get a chance to watch a couple of minutes of practice. How'd Jalen move? And I'm sure they tried to limit things so that you or anybody else couldn't give a full evaluative medical update on Jalen Hurts, but the little that you can't completely hide it either. Jalen seemed to be moving okay.
Yeah, he looked relatively fine, I would say. Didn't go through the ball security stuff at the end, but that was a bigger deal last year with the shoulder. Did seem like he was wearing um, a bit of a brace, a small brace on the knee. Took a picture of it for people that want to see it at JF McMullen, but certainly looked like he's still wearing it, and it's something you got to get used to. I don't think he wants to wear it, but you know, as somebody who's had some knee problems, stability is a big thing, and sometimes you got to wear them. Miles Sanders last year, he played through, uh, had a big knee brace on, played through some pretty significant issues, and didn't like it, but needed to, and it happens all the time.
Did you get a picture of the brace at Jalen's locker, or was he just leaving it sitting there and you snapped a pic, or did the Eagles
I got
offer to?
caught. I got
Would you
caught.
would you like this picture? That this is good investigative photography
Well,
journalism out of
first of
you, huh?
all, I did get a picture of Miles. It's not a picture. You can't take pictures in the locker room. Only video, Jody, which is
Oh,
weird.
sorry.
Don't ask me why. It's weird. Um, no still photography, but no, no, no picture of the knee brace. And, I'm not even 100% sure it's on there. It looks like it's on there. Obviously, he's wearing long pants because he doesn't want to give anything away, but it certainly looked like he had a small knee brace on.
All right, so we won't know what Jalen's level of play is, how much the knee may be bothering him, probably till he gets onto the field on Sunday. But a full participant, you heard Johnny Mac, full participant. So stop tweeting at he or I. Oh, Jalen's not on the injured list. He doesn't need to be on the injured list, but you got to see him when he gets out on the field on Sunday. They have played the Commanders tough down in DC the last couple of years, kind of a home field disadvantage for Washington. And we had Chris Russell on yesterday, and you specifically asked him. There was a buzz when Daniel Snyder sold the team, and in the nation's capital, they're excited about getting their football team back out from under a very bad owner. Yeah, now they're 3-4, as most people expected them to be. Some disappointing losses to some bad teams. Is that buzz still in town? How difficult is it going to be for Eagle fans to get tickets if they want to go? And he said, yeah, they'll be available, maybe not in the droves that they have the last couple of years when it's been a Philadelphia takeover down in Washington, but not that they can be shut out of the game. I told you a couple of weeks ago I was kind of proud of my fellow Jet fans. They didn't give up their tickets. The Eagles didn't take over Jet Life Stadium. But he said there'll be plenty of Eagle representation in Washington tomorrow. Eagle fans love to travel, and this team is 6-1. How much green's going to be in the stadium tomorrow, John?
I think quite a bit, but I don't think as much as has been in recent past because there is more goodwill amongst the fan base, even if they're disappointed at the recent struggles. They hadn't sold out a game in forever, and all of a sudden they're getting sellouts. Tells you how uh, despised Daniel Snyder was. So it's going to be better for Washington's perspective than it typically has been over the past few years. But yeah, I think there's going to be plenty. I don't think they're going to go Jets. Eagles fans have taken over MetLife, especially when the Giants, which have been bad for who have been bad for a number of years until last year, especially when they would play late in the season, the Eagles would really take over that place. Um, Jets fans did a good job. I talked about Detroit last year. I expected a ton of Eagles fans in Detroit. There were none. They were hyped up about that team. If you have the luxury as a home fan to not, to lock that thing down as a group, um, and it's going to be better than it has been for Washington, but there's going to be plenty of Eagles fans there.
Here's something that you may or may be able to pick up on after the game. You won't know before the game because you won't have access to the Washington players. There's some pretty good whispers down there in DC right now about the status of their head coach as to whether he's the guy going forward with this team. Shoot, he's only, what, 6 months when the deal got done, of probably being the number one guy in the organization as far as player personnels and decisions go. I think he had more say so than the general manager did. Gotten off to a slow start. New owner, new broom usually sweeps clean. So people are rightfully, in my mind, speculating that this could be the end for their head coach, Ron Rivera. Players, if I know about it on Birds 365 up here in Philadelphia, they surely are hearing those same whispers down there in D.C. Do you think you'll see any evidence of that on the field on Sunday?
You know, it's always funny when you're on the cusp of sort of being relevant and irrelevant. Players can go one of two ways. They can
That's
keep
why I
fighting,
asked you.
or they can check in. I think it's too early that they're going to completely check out. They're still in it. I mean, the
3 and 4 is
yeah.
not.
I mean,
It's
there's
not
who's the 7th
one and 6.
seed right now. I mean, what is it, 3-3? I don't even know. I have to look up real quick, but I don't think they're going to give up. And they're probably, if anything, I would think they're going to play a little bit harder, coming off what was a really ugly performance last week against the New York Giants. I think they want to get that bad taste out of its mouth. Um, let's see. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
And
Vikings, believe it or not, will
three
be
and
the
four,
7th seed at
three
3 and
and
4.
four and four. Yeah, they're in it. So yeah, I don't think anybody's given up or woe is me. But I'm with you with Ron Rivera. I mean, just from the standard of, hey, I think the game is passing by, but that's just a personal observation. But Josh Harris, you know how this works. New people come in, they want their own people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so even if he had been doing a good job, he would have had to have significantly overachieved. When with that team, you're probably talking about playoffs, maybe even a win in the playoffs, or they were going to go in a different direction because Josh Harris is going to want to bring him his own people. And by the way, that's understandable. Um, you spend $6 billion on something, you want to get the people you trust in the positions of power. So, um, yeah, he was always going to be up against it.
Got one more health question for you. And again, don't know if you've got any information whatsoever. Cam Jurgens, you see him yesterday?
Yeah, Cam's going to be ready when his games are over. Now, how quickly do the Eagles ramp him up? That's always a buy player scenario.
They ramped Nakobe up pretty quick. Soon as his practice window got open, boom, he's right back in the lineup.
And I would think the same thing holds true for Cam. I would be surprised if he's not immediately put back because I think he was playing pretty well.
Right.
He's a big part of their future. So you have both things colliding. And I saw him last week and he seemed fine. Now,
and this is his last week, right? Has he played 4 games? So it's the Eagles' 8th game. So you're on the practice, the IR
you're
for
on
4.
you're on the injury reports for 4 games. Injury reserve minimum of 4 games. I'd have to look up. Everything runs together, but he last week, as I said, he looked like he was ready to go. Now, yeah,
by the way, Suo Pettit's done a fine job, not an oh my god job, but not a please get back as soon as you can. He's held his own in the guard position for.
He's done. I've been pleasantly surprised by how well Suo has held up.
You and I both.
But yeah, I think Cam's a better player. I think he was playing better. I don't think there's any hesitation. Now, you bring up Nakobe Dean. That's a good example. technically Nick Morrow's playing better than he is. So I don't think that's the case with Sua and Cam. I don't think Sua. I think, as I said, I think Sua's held up pretty well, but I think Cam as a whole was playing better. So yeah, I don't think there's much question. When he's ready to go, he's ready to go, and he'll be back in there. So he was injured in week 4, and then so 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this will be his last game, and
Fourth week that he's missed.
they
Yeah.
can start his practice window, and I expect him, right back out there.
If you said he's looking good, moving around okay in the locker room, that's something to look forward to next week. All right, last thing, and then we're going to get our first guest up here. That would be a usual Friday contributor, a guy, Paul Domowitch from the 33rd team, and his outstanding stat pack on JAKIBSports.com if you want a preview look at the things we're going to ask Damo about. Kevin Byard at practice. Everybody's talking about a blue streak as well. They should. Good acquisition. Howie Roseman once again seeming to have some kind of advantage over the other general managers in the league. Guys are seem excited to be playing with Kevin Byard, the teammates that were asked about him yesterday. I know you only get a short look at practice. I'm guessing he was going with the ones. Did he get all the reps that you guys were able to see?
Well, we don't get to see any reps.
None. You get none?
None.
What
Zero.
The hell do you see?
We get to see individual work. And yeah, he was, the indications are he was with the ones. I don't think there's any question. I gave the over under and, couple pains in the asses. They understood what I was trying to say. Over under every play. Now you can't go over, so you should take the under.
Either he is or he isn't.
I should have said 99%. I think he's going to play the whole game. The whole game. I think, barring injury, of course. He never gets injured. Now I'll get in trouble for putting the kibosh on him, but I think he's going to play the whole game. I really do.
If you're going to get in trouble, then so am I, because I think he's going to play every snap too. The Eagles do that at safety. They don't have that's not a rotational position for them. Hasn't been before this coaching staff. This year, Blankenship was playing every single snap. I think Evans might have had a game where he played every single snap as well. So that's what they've done. They get their 2 best guys out there, and they put them out there for 100% of the snaps. And I'm with you. I think Byard fills that role this weekend, even though he's only been here about 20 minutes. All right, you got about 3 minutes to wait before you get to hear from Paul Domowitch. Damo's Spot on a Friday. Up next here on Birds 360.